Hello guys, welcome back. Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how you can create a small button that can allow you to show and hide HTML element using the class attribute. Okay, so here we have our class attribute, so we need to give it a name. I will say my class, for example, and this one here as well will be my class. So as I was telling you, we are going to create a show and hide HTML elements using the class attribute. So for that, we are going to need a script, a JavaScript. So I will come down here in the script element. I'm going to write my JavaScript code. So I first need to initialize a variable that is going to allow me to keep track of the state of my button. So I'm going to say variable is hidden like this, and I will say equal false. Okay, so this is going to initialize my variable. So here we are introducing the is hidden variable that is going to allow us to keep track of whether the elements are currently hidden or revealed. And here we are initializing it to false. That is going to indicate that the elements are not hidden at all. So that's basically that. And then after doing that, I'm going to create my function. So I'll say function. I'll call this toggle elements. And let me open and close the curly braces. So inside the curly braces, I'm going to initialize another variable. So I'll call this variable x, and I'll say document that get elements by class name. And then inside, I'm going to write the name of my class, that is my class. Then I'm going to say semicolon. I need another variable, so that is going to be for the button. So I'm going to say button like this. And I will say, as for the button, I need to get my button by ID. So document get element by ID. And open and close the bracket, open and close the double quotes, and I'm going to say toggle button. So toggle button here is going to be the ID of my button. So I need to add that ID here. I'll say ID equals toggle button. So that's basically it. So what we can say here is that the toggle element function here is going to be called when the button is clicked. Okay, so that means that here on my button, I can say on click equals, and I'm going to call my function. So that will be toggle elements like this. Yeah, so that's going to make sure that when we click on the button, this particular function is going to be called. And also what we are doing here is that this line of code, the variable here, this line is going to select all the elements with the class my class like this. So we have these two elements here. And it's going to store this element in the variable x. Also, we need to add another condition here. So still in my function, I will say if is hidden like this. So since the initial value of is hidden is false, we are simply saying that if the our elements are not hidden, we want this to happen. What do we want to happen? So we will say for variable I equals 0, semicolon, I less than length, x that length, like this, semicolon, I plus plus. So this is a for loop, and inside our for loop, we are going to write some portion of code. We will say that x that I in the brackets like this, not that here, but we will say that style not display equals to block, and then say semicolon. Okay, so what does this mean? So when we are using the if statement here, is because we want to check the current state of our variable is hidden. So if that's false, so that is what we are going to do here. So if is hidden is true, it means that the elements are currently hidden. So we are going to iterate through all the elements with the class fruit and set the value to display. I've not written that part of the code yet. But if it is false here, it means that the elements are currently revealed. So we iterate through all the elements with the class fruit and set the display style to none, for example, and all of that. So I still need to write some other portion of code here. So since the initial value of is hidden is false, that means that our elements are revealed. So I'll say button that in HTML are going to be equal to hide elements. So this is going to actually make sure that whenever the elements, the elements that is having the class, my class here, are revealed, the wording on the button, the value showing on the button needs to be hide elements. Okay, so this is going to change the button text. And we will say else here, that is going to be that if the variable is hidden is something other than false, or if it is true, then we need another for loop here. In that for loop, we were going to do just like we did for the first for loop. We say I equals 0, I less than x than length, semicolon, I plus plus. And then inside here we will say x I that style that display. So this is going to be equal to none. So we are going to hide our elements. And then we need to change the text of our button. So we say button that inner HTML is equal to reveal elements. That's it. And then we need to add another line of code, that is to say that we will say this. So still in the function, we are going to write is hidden different from is hidden. So that's the line of code, and then a semicolon. So what this line of code means is that we are going to toggle the state by using the is hidden, is different of is hidden here. This line is going to switch the state between true and false. Okay, since the initial value is false here, it's going to switch it to true. Okay, so each time the button is clicked, this line of code is going to make sure that the value assigned to our variable is hidden here is switched. So it's going to allow the code to alternate between hiding and revealing the elements with each click on the button. So this is the line of code that you need to write. So now if I come here on my web page and click, something is not working here. Our buttons, our elements are not being, are not hiding themselves. So what is not working well here? So as you can see, the code is not working. Let me check and let us troubleshoot that. So here is because our elements are not hiding. It's because, so this is supposed to be done at this line of code here. We have block, we have none here, display, and so everything seems to be quite good here. Let's come up here. Okay, I see that maybe the mistake is here on the class name. So here my class, he is starting with capital C. Meanwhile, in the HTML elements, we wrote it with lowercase c. Okay, so I'll simply change that here and say lowercase c like this. Or we can keep that like this and then come and change this with uppercase C here. Yeah, so I think we are good to go. So now if I click on hide elements, it's going to hide my elements and the text of the button is going to be changed. Okay, so that's basically what has happened. Yeah, so this is the portion of code here that has actually happened. So now the is hidden is set to true here. And if I click on reveal elements, it's going to reveal portion of the element. Okay, so is hidden is set to false. And then you can see the text of the button has also changed. So this portion of code has been executed. So guys, that's what I wanted to show you, how you can use the class attribute to hide and reveal elements. And we also needed to use some JavaScript to do that. So if you still have any question on this particular video, feel free to write in the comment section. And if you like it, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will meet in the next video.